Okay, we're going to open the meeting. This is the Town of East Bridgewater Planning Board regular meeting of Monday, November 1st, 2021. We'll call it 7:04 p.m. Currently present for the board, Associate Member Kevin Riley, regular members Roy Gardner, Edward O'Leary, John Lawler, and Rob Ken. Also present is our office staff, Dot Simpson, Ellen McKenzie, okay. First item of business is minutes from October 18th, 2021.
To approve the minutes as presented.
That's a motion. Riley, do you have a second?
I'll second it.
That's a second. Lawler. Any further discussion on the motion to approve the minutes of Monday, October 18th, 2021? Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We show that as 5 in favor, none opposed. Okay, we currently have no planning board specific bills to approve tonight. We've had a request from the Knights Estates applicant to continue action on that subdivision hearing. I should say that subdivision discussion to the first meeting in December, which is December 6th. December 6th, and we'll put that on as the, let's call it the 7:10 agenda item. I guess officially we should vote to put on the record that we've accepted his request to postpone until the first meeting in December.
Motion to accept.
So that's a motion, O'Leary. Second, Lawler. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed. We'll show that as 4 in favor, none opposed, with Associate Member Kevin Riley abstaining. Next item of business from tonight, we have Daisy Lane Estates. The principal from Daisy Lane Estates is present, Scott Burgess. We've just gone over and calculated his road bond estimate to a unrounded off number of $117,214.90 using our standard estimating worksheet. So at this point in time, I can entertain a motion that will set the road bond estimate at $118,000 for the first phase, which I believe will be pretty close to the first half of that subdivision. We'll call that phase 1.
I'll make the motion.
So we've got a motion, Lawler. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Motion Lawler, second Ken, to set the road bond estimate for Daisy Lane for lot releases for lots 1, 2, 3, 12, 13, 14, and 15 at $118,000. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All those opposed?
No vote.
We'll show that as 4 in favor, none opposed, with Associate Member Kevin Riley abstaining. Okay, so the next item directly related to that is a vote to sign the lot release, which is technically an amended covenant with that lot release, delineating that upon receipt of a tri-party agreement, which is what Mr. Burgess is going to provide to us, which we've already seen, and it follows the same language in our previous tri-parties agreement that have previously been approved by town council. When we receive that tri-party agreement, it'll be, correct me if I'm wrong, Scott, it's going to be through the Northeastern Savings Bank.
Yes.
They'll be party 1. Scott Burgess and his whatever.
New View Homes.
New View Homes?
New View Homes, yeah.
Will be the second party. The town of East Bridgewater will be the third party. And upon signing of that, and acceptance of that tri-party agreement, that we will actually then provide Mr. Burgess the lot release document, i.e. the amended covenant, so that can be recorded at the registry. And then A recorded copy can be returned to the Planning and Building Department office so he can receive his building permits per his request. Last part of that would be that the board vote tonight to authorize me as the chairman to sign that third-party agreement. As practice, is we always do that together in the office of the bank that's gonna be doing that, with the bank officer, myself, and Scott Burgess would all three be present in the room. And it'll be notarized by whoever does the notarization work at the bank. And I will take a copy of that back here to Town Hall so that we have that in our possession. So if we could have a motion to accept a tri-party agreement on behalf of Newview Homes and Mr. Burgess for the amount of $118,000 upon signature of all three parties.
I'll make the motion.
So we got a motion, Lawler, do we have a second?
Second? Second.
Second, O'Leary. Any discussion on that motion?
I think I can discuss, no.
You certainly can.
My only comment would be, from a title standpoint, that there should be, I think, another paragraph added just indicating that Mr. Burgess is the successor in interest to Janelle Rotundi as trustee of the 22-acre Central Street Realty Trust. It sort of alludes to that, but it doesn't specifically indicate that the subdivision and all the lots have been conveyed to him at some point, which is what the covenant itself
That's right.
calls for.
So that should be in the covenant release form, I think, right?
I would just stick it in here as another one of the preamble paragraphs under witness, just tie it all together.
So you're looking at the proposed third-party agreement right now?
Yes.
So could you scribble down some
I could.
language for that, and we'll, Scott
So
is
let me
gonna,
leave with it?
Kevin,
Dorothy.
Scott is gonna talk to his banker probably first thing in the morning,
take your call.
because we were gonna revise it to have a single signature authorized by vote of the board, which we're in the process of doing right now. We can ask him to add that he's the Newview Homes, Scott Burgess is the successor in interest for that property. Whatever your correct language.
Well, not
Slightly
correct,
more legal
but.
format than I have.
So question, Rory. So on the covenant amendment, did we want to put similar language?
I don't think we need to be specific in there because the covenant is written generically and the covenant says it already has
Name the
successes and the
states.
signs and so on and so forth on it. So that covers basically no matter how many people down the road. The tri-party agreement is slightly different and needs a little bit more legalese, I think, than
No, that's fine.
because the tri-party agreement is between a specific party. I think I did notice that when I reviewed it a week or two ago, that Janelle and whatever the name, I forget what it was now, that they were using for the property, but it's no longer the current owner of the property.
Right, it's 22 acres or something, Central Street.
Yeah, I forget what it's called
Yep.
at that point. So I
Excuse
guess
me.
back, I'm sorry, Scott, go ahead.
Is there anything we need to speak about on the foundations?
I'll just mention that when we finish the discussion on the
Oh,
current
no
motion, we're
problem.
still kind of in the middle.
Yeah, no problem, okay.
So what we'll do is either Dot or Ellen will make a copy of that to give to you, Scott, so you can,
I'll recite it to him in the morning.
I'll have a copy of it as well.
Okay.
If you want, we could even scan it and email a copy to him if he wants to see the writing part of it, as opposed to try and interpret it over the phone, or you could take a
Sure.
picture of it.
Right, yeah, either or. If I get a copy with me, I'll convey it.
So on the motion, given that Associate Member Kevin Riley is coming up with a little bit of language to account for the change in ownership of the property, on the motion then to accept the tri-party agreement as we discussed in the sum of $118,000, all those in favor? Oh, sorry, is there any other further discussion?
No.
No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll show that as 4 in favor, none opposed, with Associate Member Kevin Riley abstaining. So the last item is past practice, especially this time of the year, has always been, once we've actually voted to proceed with the lot releases, or in the process of just waiting until we get our bond surety, which in this case would be that tri-party agreement, is we authorize the building inspector to issue, upon request by the owner, foundation permits, which basically means he can put concrete in the ground, no wood on that, until such time as he gets building permits, which by the time the concrete is cured, he'll probably have everything, whatever, with the covenant amendment recorded at the registry of deeds. So if I could, just a motion to notify the building inspector that we're fine with him issuing foundation permits for those lots listed in the covenant amendment, which we're going to endorse tonight.
Motion to allow that.
I guess if he feels comfortable doing that, that's really up to his discretion.
Yep. I'll
We don't-
second it.
We don't want to step on his toes, so. We've got a motion, O'Leary, second Lawler. Any further discussion on that motion? All those in favor of that motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll show that as 4 in favor, none opposed, with member Kevin Riley abstaining from voting.
Very good, thank you.
Just
Oh,
for
that
your
was quick.
information, Scott, for your information, the only reason Kevin isn't voting on that is as an associate member, due to the grand and glorious Massachusetts general laws, he's not authorized to vote on subdivision issues.
Okay,
So that's the only reason.
still
he's-
works for me, so I'm appreciative, so I can understand. I was curious, though. Did I do something wrong?
No, that's why I wanted to explain that.
No,
to
no, I
you.
appreciate it, I was just
Thank you,
curious, so
Doug.
thank you.
Okay, so I think we're all set with Daisy Lane. I think we're
Yeah,
all
I
set
thank
with
you all, thank you for your
Scott
help.
Good luck.
All right.
Take care.
Well, good luck, a lot of work, right?
Yeah, there you
luck.
go.
Yeah,
That's
thank you.
okay. No bother.
Okay. So I'm gonna take a leadership role and say there's nothing on the second page we really need to do tonight. So we'll leave it to, we've taken care of Daisy Lane. Do we have a current review from John on,
Yes. We have the bill from John.
okay?
I move to approve the payment of $200 to John Delano for review fee on Layla Estates.
Okay, so we've got a motion, Riley, to pay a bill to John Delano for $200.
Second?
That's a second, Ken. We've also got a report letter. And I do want to thank John for agreeing to review Layla Estates, because it was becoming clear it'd be difficult for our new engineer to review that, given the number of review periods and time that John has been our review engineer for that, so. Has this been forwarded to Mike Koska, right?
Yes.
He's,
Mike got a copy of John's letter.
okay,
Ellen spoke with Mike today. I think you have a copy of the letter in there that John sent to Ellen after speaking with Mike Koska today. Is it in your packet?
yeah.
Okay. Layla,
Yeah.
it should be in the front. Nope, right after the bill. Was it that? And then,
That's
yeah.
the old email.
Yeah. Does everybody have the email? It says, "Hi, Ellen."
Yeah.
Okay,
I have.
we missed Kevin.
Yep.
Are you good over there, John? Are you okay? Do you have the,
I didn't see that one, no. I read the first one, I didn't see that one. The one that was in the email that you had sent out, yeah?
some Sometimes there's an oversight, but this was the response from John.
Thanks very much.
So who's he?
Mike,
Wants the developer to bring the elevation of the four-bay drainage basin up to
must be Mike, right?
design grade. Is that Mike Koska?
Yeah, that's how I infer it.
I'm guessing it has to be, because he's the only other party involved, I guess.
Oh, the person that did the work.
Technical lingo.
Sorry about that.
We associate them with
Right, it's a subdivision.
that. That's true.
So he did his review after they supposedly fixed all of this.
Yes, that's the first one I read, yeah.
So they've still got virtually the same problem they had originally.
Right.
From the outlet of that basin down at least 30 or 40 feet down that swale is just flat. There's no grade there.
That looks like that's what the problem is. So we still need that to be corrected
Yes.
with the as-built plan.
Well, that's what John said, that he's looked at it a number of times, and there's been no activity on it, so.
And I believe he
All right,
wants
so for-
the town
as
engineer to
a-
review it.
Yes.
the
Yeah,
next
as a board, I don't think we need to do anything tonight, but I'll call Mike Koska in the morning and talk to him about this, because he was aware when we were all together at the site actually last fall, just before winter, actually this spring rather.
That's
And
when
it
they
was-
had the issue, wasn't it? Was this spring?
When there was still snowbanks on that cul-de-sac. Late winter, whenever that actually was. I guess maybe it was late winter. But it was clearly obvious, because there was standing water in the main detention basin, that it wasn't flowing out.
Right, correct.
And the standing water went through the V-notch and then was just there. It wasn't flowing down the drainage swale, because the drainage swale was going uphill.
I believe there was an issue with the electrical box as well.
Yeah, I'm not
Down
sure.
in that.
I'm not sure about that, but
Yeah, that has been corrected, but,
I know they did install the catch basin at the end of the cul-de-sac to fix the problem of no catch basin in their attempt to just get the water to flow off on a surface drain, because that wasn't working the day we were there. The water was 3 inches or 4 inches deep at the end of the cul-de-sac. So, all right, I'll call Mike in the morning and have a discussion with him. Because I know I saw something 3 or 4 weeks ago that indicated that they had, quote, corrected the drainage swale, but they couldn't go to the full width that it was supposed to be, because the last house on that side had a fence all along the back property line, which encroached on the easement.
I think that showed in the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then would.
So we think the plan is right, but what's on the ground doesn't match the plan.
That's what I'm understanding?
Yes. That's the way I read this.
So then would we have, once it's done, then would we have environmental partners go out and look at it?
We'd ask John to look at it again. I don't want to,
Okay.
because
because
environmental partners isn't going to want to jump in at the end and try and figure out what's supposed to be
Okay.
there or not be there.
And see how that goes.
Plus, that's part of the off-road drainage system, which has to be certified for Concom's compliance certificate anyway.
There you go.
So John's gonna be looking at that. Okay, so I'll have a discussion regarding that, so I don't think we need to do anything further with that.
Should we put this on the agenda for next month and see what happens?
Yeah, because next meeting is,
the 18th?
We're,
18th, yeah.
put it on the agenda for our next meeting. 15th. I don't think we want to wait till.
15th,
We don't want to
November
wait till
15th.
December. Yeah, put it on the agenda for the 15th. Because we want that done and fixed and hopefully at least a little bit seeded and something growing in it before the winter hits. We'd rather not have just raw loam spread across the top of a new swale and then winter hit. All right, so we've got 3 templates.
Just renew the motion to pay the bill for $200.
I'm sorry. Did we fail to vote? I guess
Oh,
we
we
failed.
did.
we
It was
fail?
5-0.
Did we?
Yeah. You made the motion.
I know, I did.
Yeah, and
thought we
Ken
did.
seconded.
I seconded it, yeah.
Yeah, it was
Whatever.
5-0.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
You were just testing us, Kevin,
No.
is what it was.
Senior moment.
Could be.
He was testing the old lady.
Happens, like when you forget to bring your friends cookies.
I'm gonna
say Llewellyn, but she would respond kindly to me.
So gentlemen, so we have 3 forms here that, our member Kevin Riley has graciously done some fairly significant, editing to bring them up to, let's say, more current legal standards, and along with some additional language that better fits the way our zoning bylaw is constructed. So I've looked at these in pretty good detail. I have absolutely no problem accepting a motion to, from this day forward to when we have any approvals under any of these 3, which, for the record, are subdivision approval, special permit, site plan approvals, and just plain site plan reviews. I have no problem accepting a motion to start with these templates as a document for any of those approvals with, and then add whatever specific, site-specific conditions need to be added to
I'll make
any
a
one of
motion.
those types of.
I'll make the motion.
So that's a motion, Lawler. Do we
Yes.
have a second?
Second.
That's a motion, Lawler, second O'Leary. Any further discussion?
Oh, just to thank Kevin.
Yeah, I think they're great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's greatly appreciated, because
Yep.
I will acknowledge from past experience of knowing the person that did these, that they have been cut and pasted about 15 to 16 generations, stealing language from other towns and so on and so forth. So we do appreciate a truly upgraded set of templates to start from as we begin. So I thank you for that, Kevin. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion to adopt these 3 templates for our approval process going forward, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And we'll show that as 5 in favor, none opposed. Is there anything else we need to discuss tonight?
No.
All right, so I will briefly, this is the last item here. All of the boards are in the process of accepting a general services agreement, letter of understanding format. The particular one I'm looking at right now is a general services agreement, letter of understanding, task order number 9, Knights Estates definitive subdivision review. Now, what we're doing here is we've at least tentatively decided, and town council is still working with the financial end of things downstairs to make sure there's no problem in putting this together, but there'll be a single common engineering account held by the treasurer collector's office. That engineering account will be drawn down. Again, it's a single engineering account per project. In this case, the name of the engineering account would be Knights Estates. Task order number 9 for engineering work would be the definitive subdivision review. There'll be, as I understand it, a different task order number for maybe Board of Health, a different task order number for Concom under wetlands protection, and maybe even a separate tax number for Concom under stormwater management. But we will review the bills, and then just simply, as part of that review, authorize Patrick Franey as our building commissioner to be the single signee on the invoices that then get sent downstairs. Rationale behind that is we want to avoid the dead time between the time the bill gets sent to us, the time we can actually approve that individual bill at a meeting. In some cases, that's as much as 4.5 weeks. Since the money is already in the engineering account, the preference would be that bill get paid as soon as possible. So that's the process we're adopting. I think we still need a formal vote of the board probably at our next meeting, because I believe we're going to discuss this further this Wednesday at our meeting of the, I'm going to forget what we're calling the group now, but TRAC, Technical Review and Advisory Committee, which has a member of all of the town boards and several of the offices and departments on it that have to do with any kind of land use and permitting and the financial end of the process here, so. So that's really just an update at this point. The Form A plan we have, this is for,
Central Street. This will be number 3, in case anybody was counting. I'll put the other 2 in there just for your review. Plan in the file if anybody's interested.
so I'm guessing simply from looking at that Form A, they've got a plan to cul-de-sac with an inside or a radius of 60 feet in there for some reason, I'm not sure why, but. So for a pure Form A, I don't see any issues with this. It doesn't create any buildable lots, is the lots that they're changing lot lines on, labeled Lot 1 and 2. State not a buildable lot. I will require them to make one change before I actually will endorse the plan, and that is that Lot 1 and Lot 2 should say Parcel 1 and Parcel 2, based on the definition of those terms in the zoning bylaw. They're acknowledging right on their own filed plan it's not a buildable lot. If it's not a buildable lot under our zoning bylaw, it should be labeled as a parcel. Lot 3 is actually okay because Lot 3 has frontage on Industrial Drive, and it's an Industrial 1 zone, so. But clearly, those other 2 parcels have no approved roadway construction details, so they're not buildable at this time until they should file some kind of plan to get them frontage, or at least access with some kind of a constructed way. So I think we can entertain a vote to authorize the chairman to sign the plan as a Form A plan. Approval under subdivision not required with a change on the labeling of Lot 1 and Lot 2 to Parcel 1 and Parcel 2.
Do you want a motion?
Yes, I do.
It's yours.
Okay, so we do have a motion.
Motion.
We do have a motion from Lawler. Can we have a second to that?
Second.
So again, I'll repeat the contents of what that motion is. It's basically to authorize the chairman to endorse the Form A plan as approval under subdivision not required, provided they revise the plan as filed from reading Lot 1 and Lot 2 to Parcel 1 and Parcel 2 for those 2 parcels, one being 7.504 acres, one being 9.295 acres, that are already labeled on the plan, not a buildable lot. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? We'll show that as a vote of 4 in favor, none opposed, with with Associate Member Kevin Riley abstaining. All right, anything else we need to look at tonight, Dot?
I
Ellen?
think that's it.
Anyone else on the board have any
Don't
questions?
pay a $200 bill to John Delaney.
Nice guy. Do you need to vote on that Knights Estates or when they? No, you didn't.
was that?
For the engineer review, there was a note on my desk saying, you just have to review it and he can go ahead, or do we have to sign something?
I believe based on what we've been discussing in town council's advice so far is that we really don't need to do anything further.
Okay, I know Patrick signed it, but, so he can go ahead and do that review? It would be nice if.
Environmental Partners, I know, had asked that the town administrator sign it, and there is a space on there to be signed. It says on here, interim town administrator.
No, it's not till the end of November. So currently, there's no one, so I didn't have any administrator sign.
So is there anybody acting as town administrator right now? No?
Dickie Eldridge.
I think maybe Rebecca might be the.
Why don't you do me a favor, if you would, and check with the selectman's office in the morning? And and check with Rebecca and ask if she feels, if anyone is authorized to sign that, so that can proceed.
It would be nice if we could have a report for December.
Yeah, yeah. When is the new town administrator who's been hired start?
First day is the 22nd.
Yeah, I thought it was the 22nd.
22nd of November?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, that's 3 weeks away, so we'd like to get this moving before that. All right, so check with the selectman's office. Yeah, check with the selectman's office and get back to me tomorrow and see what the feedback is, and I can call, well, I can talk to Patrick, but I can also call Scott if Scott would just prefer for at least this particular one that I also sign this on behalf of the board, I can do that. If the
Okay,
town, if he needs a third signature on there.
okay, all right, Ellen's gonna go ask now, see if she's there.
Oh, yeah, okay, there's still office hours, right?
We may know shortly.
Stand by.
Needs a filler, Roy. Believe that.
I think we're okay. We don't have to wait for Ellen to come back.
Well, just, I think we're up, maybe we're not all the way. There's been an application for a septic system approval and some action by Concom for a lot off of River Road Extension. I know Rob's heard about this, because Rob sits on the track committee. But the bottom line is, there's no physical River Road Extension ever constructed, and this lot fronts on basically a bunch of trees. So the building inspector I've been keeping the building inspector on board what's going on. We were also trying to figure out where 34 River Road came from, and I found the plan today. Before the permit was issued for River Road, that parcel of land was listed as having 400 feet of frontage on the road up to the north of River Road that runs 90 degrees to River Road up near Bridge Street. I think it's Meadowbrook.
Yeah.
So that parcel that's now the frontage for that house that's way out in the woods there, used to be the frontage for 34 River Road.
Oh, yeah.
But then they divided stuff up and took that away, and there's, I think I had mentioned in the track meeting, there's at least 8, well, first of all, that was a subdivision that went defunct in the 50s, I believe it was. It was purchased by an investor. And he kind of started piecemealing it together slowly down River Road. I think he did 8 lots, and they kept doing pieces of plans, combining lots together to get to what then was required under current zoning. So it's a little difficult to follow which lots went where and how, but in any case, I did find a plan today that was recorded just before the building permit was issued for what's now called 34 River Road. that has written right across that parcel that is now 34 River Road, that its frontage is derived from the 400 feet of frontage on Meadowbrook. It's no longer connected to Meadowbrook. In any case, they will have to come back to the planning board with a subdivision filing to actually construct that road if they want to get a lot for, that would be across the street, if you will, from 34 River Road. By land use law in Massachusetts, 34 River Road is protected since it's been physically, it had a legal building permit, and it has now been there for 30-some-odd years. The cutoff time limits for various zoning things in Massachusetts are either 6 years or 10 years, depending on the specifics. And I'm not even certain of the specifics for there's differences between the two, but in any case, the worst case zoning enforcement has to fall within 10 years from the time you became aware of it. Since we issued a building permit and we've been taxing them for some 30-plus years, then obviously we're aware of it. So there's not much we can do about 34, but certainly we can require a roadway to be constructed. That roadway would then create the legal frontage, so effectively 34 would then become conforming. Instead of a protected non-conforming lot, it would become conforming. So,
Good fellow, Roy, get a signature, you're all set. Well done.
okay,
Excellent.
so I'll keep everyone updated as to what's going on with that, but I expect if they decide they're gonna try and proceed and get a house lot out of that, they will have to come back with a subdivision plan. Okay?
Okay.
And that being said, I guess we can entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'm with you.
So that's a motion, Lawler. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Ken. To adjourn. Any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? And we'll show that as 5 in favor, none opposed, and we'll call it 8:40 PM.
You get that little.
Thank you.